Among those targeted by Western economic sanctions, Russian billionaires, the oligarchs we've heard so much about in recent weeks. So who are they? What's their response to Vladimir Putin's so-called special military operation in Ukraine? Here's Seth Doane.
You have billions of dollars in a bank.
Yeah, I have a pretty sizable amount of money.
But you can't touch it?
No, not at all.
He's a billionaire in an unusual predicament, no access to cash. Because this month, Mikhail Fridman became yet another Russian oligarch to be slapped with those economic handcuffs, sanctions.
How did you learn you were sanctioned?
From TV?
Oligarchs in London will have nowhere to hide.
We're coming for you, ill-begotten gains.
All of these measures will significantly harm Putin's ability to finance his war.
To punish Russian President Vladimir Putin for invading Ukraine, the U.S. and its allies are foregoing military intervention and using the financial weapon of sanctions, aimed at both the state and on individuals deemed close to Putin. Flashy assets are being seized and bank accounts frozen.
If you put your ATM card in the ATM...
No, my card is blocked, so I could not get any money.
Fridman, who made his billions in banking and retail and now lives in London, is on the UK and EU sanction lists.
I wouldn't expect you to tell me on camera, but I would think that a billionaire must have access to money.
No.
Somewhere. There must be an account. There must
be, but it's not.
Seems hard to believe.
But that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, because I would like to explain sanction against us. Unfair, useless. For what? What did we do wrongly? Except with doing business in Russia.
Can't a wealthy Russian businessman close to Putin have some impact?
So first of all, you should understand that the power distance between Mr. Putin and everybody around him is huge. Even assuming I want to deliver any messages, I don't have any channels to do that.
You can't make billions in Russia without being close to the Kremlin.
Yeah, that's very typical and inappropriate myth. Majority of Russian private business people do not have any personal ties with Mr. Putin.
From his earliest days of political power, Putin has been using corruption as a tool to enrich himself and expand his power. Everyone swims in that water.
Author Tom Burgis wrote Kleptopia, How Dirty Money is Conquering the World. He says the West has been gorging on Russian money, whether in property, this is Fridman's $85 million London mansion, now a frozen asset.
What a great strike that is.
Or sports teams. Chelsea Football Club, one of the world's most valuable franchises, is owned by sanctioned oligarch Roman Abramovich.
How do you know this is dirty money that's being blocked by these sanctions?
Dirty money is quite a hard thing to define. You could make the argument that anyone who has made and retained an enormous fortune in a dictatorship we know to be profoundly corrupt, then that person is to some greater or lesser extent complicit in that regime's power.
Still, to show us that his money is clean, Fridman sent us this audit by Ernst & Young, which he commissioned. He's a man straddling different worlds. He's Russian and Jewish and was born and raised in what is now Ukraine, then part of the Soviet Union.
I've been always in contact with the Ukrainian authority, including President Zelensky.
What do you think of President Zelensky?
I think he's the president of an independent country, and he is a very brave and strong person, as far as I understand.
In a letter to employees before he was sanctioned, Fridman wrote, "War can never be the answer." He's one of the few oligarchs to speak out against the invasion of Ukraine.
You've said you're against the war.
I'm against the war.
But you can't criticize Putin.
I think that right now, in climate, Russia is not very tolerant with regards to that. Mr. Putin recently made a very clear speech regarding traitors, kind of enemies of the state.
Do you think he was talking about you?
I don't know. I definitely do not believe that I am enemy of the state.
Do you think you're a traitor in Putin's view?
I hope not, but looks like.
What does that mean for you?
It's a very difficult situation by any dimension.
In all of the people suffering in this war, many do not have a lot of sympathy for Russian billionaires.
You're right. And I understand that's attitude.
Fridman acknowledges the effectiveness of the wider sanctions that have crippled Russia's economy, but claims he's collateral damage.
What about presumption of innocence and things like that? That's just decision of unknown bureaucrats who decided that I am guilty by definition because I'm Russian oligarch. Just to feed public demand to punish somebody.
Fridman says, where's the due process in this?
Fridman has a point. There are civil servants and politicians writing names on lists. What you really want is a criminal process, right? If someone is guilty of corruption, you can prosecute them for that. The danger with sanctions is that they start to create this system outside the rule of law where people are targeted with very little due process, yeah.